It's Friday, May 6th, and you're listening to the Geek News Central podcast, sponsored by GoDaddy.com. Geek News Central is a program of the Tech Podcast Network. Hey everyone, this show 668 is dedicated to my good friend Derek Miller, who passed away just a couple of days ago. He's a podcaster, a blogger, and of course, more importantly, a friend. But this show's for him. Strap in, Derek. Here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right, I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There is no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Showtime. Aloha and welcome to the Geek News Central podcast. My name is Todd Cochran, and I want to welcome you here to the Geek News Central podcast, coming to you live as it can be from the beautiful studios overlooking Greater Oahu. I'm kind of screwed up tonight. It's been one of those evenings of getting ready to start the show that just didn't fall into normal rhythm. And we're up on Ustream only tonight. It's kind of a weird deal. The Amazon Flash Media Server, it failed in creating one of its pieces. It needed to make the whole show whole to go live on Amazon. So we're just strictly up on Ustream tonight. It's okay. I'll figure out what the heck happened with Amazon later. But, I know I needed about 15 minutes before the show to get that service up and running. And I started it at 45 minutes before the show. And thinking everything would be fine, I came back here at about a quarter to the top of the hour before we started and looked at the system. As like, it was just hung. It was just sitting there waiting. And I was like, oh, no, this is not good. So anyway, we're just up on live on Ustream. But, of course, I want to give a warm welcome to the Ahana and all of you that are new to the show, and I welcome you to the Geek News Central podcast. I want to encourage you to get over to geeknewscentral.com, check out all the great content. Of course, check out our archive podcast available, the podcast link on the website, and the newsletter's there for you as well. So you get subscribed to the newsletter. Really, I deliver all of the information about the show directly to you with the newsletter. We're going to be trying a new newsletter, I think, tonight. We'll see how it goes. We've got a new newsletter service, so we're going to see how well it pops when it comes out. But if it doesn't work when I'm doing the setup, it'll come to you guys the normal way. Hey, of course, get subscribed to the show. Get over to geeknewscentral.com. Check out, basically right on their website, on the second column of the website, you'll find a link to the actual an orange box that has. Let me bring this up here. Has an orange box that has information on it about of course, you can subscribe to audio, video, special media events, morning tech show, and of course, the Gadget Professor, which just came out. We'll be launching a new show come Monday, and look forward to bringing that to you. Waiting on some more details still from our host, so he didn't get back to me on email, which is kind of discerning, but we'll pass the information to you. I guess when the show's live, it'll be a surprise for all of you, and a little bit of a surprise for me, too, because I'm waiting for the name. I've seen the content, but the name, he hasn't gave me the show name yet. So anyway, that is forthcoming, and I'll keep you advised. Keep you advised on that. Hey, if you want to contact the show, really the best way to do that is either call our hotline at area code 619-342-7365, or you can email me here at geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com. Of course, you can always reach me on Twitter at @geeknews as well. So at geeknews is where I'm at on Twitter. Of course, we're up on Ustream only tonight. No Justin. We got another piece of gear coming. I needed another converter to be able to push to Ustream, Justin, and Amazon. Of course, I probably could have changed the configuration and pushed over there to Justin tonight. But hey, I want to take just a second here and talk about the passing of Derek Miller. Some of you have probably listened to a podcast that he was a part of called Inside Home Recording. Derek is one of he's been around since the beginning, really, from the beginning of the podcasting movement. His wife was doing a show called Lip Gloss and Laptops. I don't think they're doing, or she's going to be doing that show anymore. At least that's the kind of the initial indication that I have. But a few weeks ago, Derek reached out to me via email. He had already kind of lost his voice from a different situation, or basically from a different health issue. And he had us change over the ownership of all of his stuff within our networks. And I had emailed him back and forth. But I think he knew his time was coming. He's known this for a while. And he passed away on May 3rd. And he posted a blog post that is pretty remarkable. And I want to just show this to you guys. And those of you that are listening, I'll put the link up in the show notes. But over on PenMachine.com. Now they're basically right now, because the site's getting so much traffic, they're caching it at a couple of different spots now as well. But this is pretty powerful stuff. He starts out the basically his blog post by saying, "Here it is. I'm dead. And this is my last post to my blog. In advance, that once my body finally shuts down from the punishments of my cancer, then my family and friends publish this prepared message I wrote, the first part of the process of turning this from an active website to an archive." Now, I've known Derek probably now, I probably met him in 2005 at Gnome Decks. And Derek's was well known. He went to many Gnome Dexes, met him in Seattle, I believe. And he was on many advertising deals with us at Raw Voice and made money from his show. He did very well with his podcast. And I know that there's a team that's taking over and going to continue that show. But if you get a chance, go over and read what Derek has written here. And I think you'll be duly impressed. I need to turn the volume down. I'm getting a little feedback tonight. Hang on. I don't know where that was coming from. Driving me a little crazy. We've got, here in Honolulu right now, it's, weather is nuts. It is absolutely crazy. And my kids are just like, they've come up with, in one moment it's beautiful, and the next minute it's like raining and pouring. I was the night after Tuesday, after the Monday show, I had drove the kids to school, and I had pulled out of the school parking lot, and the rain came down so hard. I've never seen it rain that hard for that long. I mean, we just sat there. And everybody did. No one was moving. It wasn't like cars were even moving a half an inch. Because if you did, you'd have wrecked. There was at least in the street that I was on, and we were actually up a little bit in elevation. We weren't down on the bottom. There was at least 5 inches of water on the road. I mean, it was crazy. And then boom, it just stopped. The sun came out. And it's kind of like this surreal thing. You're like going from this massive, horrendous downpour to the point of it just like someone turned a switch and turned it off. And I was just like, wow, that was the weirdest thing. And normally it lights up a little bit. Then it kind of slows down. This was just like, no, it just like within like 15 seconds it stopped. And the weather's weird. That's all I can say. But they said we had the most number of lightning strikes recorded in Hawaii in such a short period of time on the Monday night storm that we were talking about just before I did this last show. So anyway, enough on that. They're hoping the weather gets better because tourists will start to arrive for summer break here soon. He had an interesting talk today with the folks at Apple, and actually had a very lengthy discussion over there with some folks over there. I'm pretty pleased. Going to have some things coming here soon. A little tighter working relationship with Amazon, which is nice, and we'll just keep you advised on that. I don't know what the heck is going on with my headphone tonight, but I'm not kidding you. I'm getting this weird feedback. Literally went too far. It's literally driving me crazy. It's like it was being overdriven. I hope the audio recording's okay. So anyway, weird start tonight. All right, let's talk a little bit about our sponsor, GoDaddy.com. I want to thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here. And of course, if you're looking for a domain name, dedicated server, virtual dedicated server, I want you to get over to GoDaddy.com. We got a special going on this month for hosting accounts. And the best thing for you to do really is to give them a try and check them out. And what the special this month is you're going to get deluxe hosting for economy pricing. And this is a cool deal. You can check out their 4GH hosting, and this is basically their 4th generation hosting. A lot of it's going to be right up in the cloud. And for $4.99 a month, you get their $7.99 plan. Or if you sign up for 12 months, you're going to get their basically a buck off. So $4 a month, so $48 or $50 for a whole year for their deluxe plan. And quite a savings there, so definitely check out GoDaddy.com. And of course, we want you to use my promo codes when you're over there. And I've got a ton of them. Now, the one code that did die, and we knew it was going to die, is the CES25 code. If you didn't take advantage of that, the 25% off for new customer code is gone. It's one of those things that we had it for 4 months, an amazing 4-month run with that code. And I want to thank all of you that did use the code. Boy, I tell you, it really helped keep the lights on here. But you can use codes like Todd20. That'll save you 20% off on a 1-year shared hosting account. Geek5 will save you 15% off $20 or more. ComSale, Aloha, Geek. There's just a whole lot of codes at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Check those all out. And thanks for GoDaddy for being a sponsor here. Hey, I had lots of questions on my discussion last week. As a matter of fact, I got emails back from some of you saying, Todd, you put me into a minor coronary. And when they finally realized that, no, the show had not been sold, that I had walked away from the deal, I basically got a lot of private emails asking me who, and how much, and from podcasters. And as I said in the last show, I'm not going to talk about it, and I'm going to talk about who, how much, and so forth. And so you're not even going to get a response from me out of respect for the people that we were working with and on the deal. And but anyway, it is what it is, and I just wanted to let you guys know that. Hey, one thing I am looking for is I'm looking for someone that is a video producer, someone that has had a lot of experience putting videos on the web. I need to hire a consultant for a short job. So if you are a video producer and done stuff on the web and have some serious chops and have a good resume, drop me a line here at geeknews@gmail.com. Hey, those of you that are insiders, we're going to have a special program for you on Saturday. You're going to be getting an email here following tonight's show inviting you to a special event that I'm hosting on Saturday for our content creators, and you'll be able to get an inside look on what's going on in the new media space. So I'll have that invite for our insiders that'll come out tonight after the show notes go out. And so I want to thank all of you that are insiders. And if you're thinking about becoming an insider, you can do so by going over to geeknewscentral.com. Click on the insider link. You're going to find that on the second column of the website. Don't forget, you can get cool gear from the show, cafepress.com/Ohana store. And definitely check out those great offers there. All right, let me see here. What have I got in my stack for you tonight? I think that's about it. Yeah, I think I've covered everything from the previous show. I have some emails tonight. No voicemails came in, so we've got very little to cover at the end of the show, so that's good. So we can take the content almost to the end, which you all like very much. Hey, one last thing here before we get going into the content is, GoToMeeting. Man, this is a product that over the past 2 weeks has made me enough money to pay for itself for like the next 10 years. I'm not kidding. I'm being very, very serious about that from a business perspective and doing follow ups and meetings with people and demonstrations and proposals and you name it. It's like I'm finding a different purpose for this application every day. It's one of those tools that I right now simply cannot live without. And boy, I don't say that very often. You guys know I've been using this product a long, long time. It's a fantastic product, and it's easy. It's easy to use, and if you're an audience member that has followed this show for a while, you guys know I've talked about this product a lot. But what I want you to do is I want you to go over to GoToMeeting.com, click the Try It Free button. It's an orange link right on the website. It's going to bring you to a page where you're just basically going to do 3 steps. You're going to fill out your name, put your email address in, put a promo code, click the Continue button. It's going to collect a little more information, and you get that free 30-day trial on me. And this is the best way to give this a run for the money and see what it's like. And you basically hold a meeting. It's just a single click. Boom, you're up and online, you're running. And for this weekend's deal, I'm going to be actually using their GoToWebinar product, which scales to a much larger audience. And so you'll be able to see, those of you that attend will be able to see the GoToWebinar product in action over the weekend. But for small businesses and they're looking to have meetings with 25 people or less, GoToMeeting is really the application for you. So thanks for GoToMeeting being a sponsor here at Geek News Central. All right, got a lot of stuff. And going to go ahead here and get the first article loaded up. Boy, oh boy, spent a lot of discussion about Facebook and the relevant. We talked about a little bit in the previous show how Julian Assange, the guy that is basically the WikiLeaks guy, and how his comments came out basically talking about Facebook spying on us. And and I think some people laughed about that, but there was a follow-up article done by John C. Dvorak that I think is really an interesting perspective. And I got to thinking about it a little bit, and I have to admit he's right because I do this too. And it's not just Facebook; it's a lot of other sites. When I'm getting ready to meet with someone, or if I have a sales call, I'll go to their LinkedIn page, try to get some information from, basically get a kind of a handle of their background. I'll see if they can find anything on Facebook. I don't normally go much farther than that. I just, kind of do those two quick things. It just, it gives me a little, it's just, smart to kind of try to learn who your potential customer is going to be and for better to relate to them, right? Well, if you think about what's available on Flickr, on a variety of social media sites, on our Twitter streams, what's available from our profiles on Facebook, you can tell a lot about a person. And this is what John C. Dvorak says. He says, I tend to do due diligence on people that I'm about to meet or have lunch with. While I do not have some easy special interface, I get as much info as I need by plowing through various systems. He says you can tell a lot about a person. He said to their political orientation, their sexual orientation. You can tell if they like to drink or not. You may even be, and there's just, it goes on. And there's so much stuff that you can just kind of see from pictures, what type of people they hang out with and so forth. Now, he kind of goes to like, wow, crackpot crazy checking on people. And I don't do that. But at the same time, on all honesty, it doesn't matter really, some of that stuff. But at the same point, I like to know what business background someone may have, just that kind of stuff. But I'm not into like the personal stuff like John says he looks at. So do you guys do this? Do you guys kind of go looking around, snooping around, and someone you're going to meet, do you look at their profile and you look at their Facebook page if they have it public, and do you go look at their Flickr photos? And I don't do that. But it is interesting when he says here at the end, people should at least be aware that they might be scrutinized based on their online information, even when it's supposedly private. He says, while I cannot view people's private postings, you can be sure the government can. I don't know about that, not without a search warrant. So I have some advice. Don't be stupid. The simple thought should serve you well. So anyway, love to hear you guys' thoughts and comments on this. And, we all do it to ourselves. We put all this stuff out publicly, right? With the knowledge that people are going to be able to see it. But it definitely builds a significant picture of us around around what we do in our lives and who we hang out with and everything else. I tend not to put a lot of personal information up on Flickr or any of those other sites. I do post some stuff into my Facebook profile, but nothing like, the world is crumbling, or, nothing like that. So anyway, love to hear you guys' feedback on that. Of course, you can call the voicemail hotline at 619-342-7365, or you can drop me an email at geeknews@gmail.com. All right, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about something today that it didn't even hit my inbox. And this is one of those deals where you're like, huh, how many of you use the service called LastPass? And I love these guys' byline. Their byline, it's the last password you will ever need. This morning I woke up and I went over and was reading some news headlines. And basically the first thing that popped out at me was possible LastPass data leak. And I said, I use that. I use that service. And I went to read their blog post, and basically they saw some strange activity within their servers, and they couldn't account for it, and some data had gotten transferred out. So they blogged, basically telling everyone, change your passwords right now. That's these master passwords that you use for the service. Now, how LastPass works is it stores all your password data up in the cloud. Now, they weren't saying that there was any worry about your data block of login usernames and passwords being compromised, but they did feel that potentially every one of the email addresses that's associated with LastPass service could have been downloaded. Now, this is a service I pay for, and so when I read this, I immediately flipped out, because, well, I got a pretty strong password. They said they didn't say initially. Well, no, they didn't say initially, but they did say later that if you had a real strong password, you didn't have a lot to worry about. And so what I did is I bounced over to the LastPass website. And basically, when I hit it this morning, this was about 12 hours ago, the page wouldn't even load. And of course, I'm in my panic and I'm thinking, what is my password over there? I don't even, I'm just having one of those brain farts. But here's the thing that's been killing people all day. They said, we're experiencing extremely high load. We're intentionally logging you in using offline modes. They got this blog post that's about their issue, and they're sending out updates. And here's what this is what really troubles me in an update they made to their blog. It says, we've identified an issue with roughly 0.5% of users that impacted their master password change, and will be contacting you tomorrow, rolling you back to before the change. So people are changing their passwords and having trouble. And their system was so crushed, and people panicking, trying to change their passwords, that brought them to their knees. And their reset password system could not support how many ever thousands of users they have and coming in. Well, tonight I was able, finally, after about 14 hours or whatever it was, probably about 14 hours, I was able to log in to the LastPass.com website, and I updated my password, and I already used a ridiculous number of characters. I won't say, of course, here what I do, but it's very long. And so I know I probably was relatively safe, but it goes back to this whole consideration. And what CNET has really led into some heavy discussion about And this is so true. We're hearing about these break-ins every day, and there's basically why potential LastPass data breach isn't the last straw. So here's the question. Is it time to reconsider whether or not we want our usernames and passwords up in the cloud? Now, for years, I used this program that was a software application. It was tied to a database that was on my computer. I'd have to enter a password, and if I couldn't remember a password for a site, I'd have to go and check in and say, oh, yeah, that's my password, and I'd, get it and log in. It didn't do any auto stuff. It wasn't really fancy. But I knew that the encryption on that file was good enough that if that was hacked from my machine, good luck getting into it, right? But here we have a potential data breach on someone that's holding millions of usernames and passwords. And needless to say, I don't store like bank information. I don't store any accounts there that would lead to someone draining my bank account. I have those, I still retain those in my brain. But this, I think, CNET's right. I think we're going to see more and more of this. Companies are being impacted. Were you impacted by the LastPass issue? Well, Lifehacker has got some good reviews, some alternatives to keep your password safe from online hacking. Nothing is perfect, but the folks over at Lifehacker have come up with a few software suggestions. KeyPass. Now, let me tell you something. KeyPass has worked for ages. It's been one of my it is my favorite password manager, and it's open source and it's available for a lot of different platforms. But I use it only basically in an application mode, and but it doesn't play nicely with all your software, at least the one I'm using. Now, there's some other applications out there. 1Password is one. I'm not familiar with this one. He talks about the pros and cons of that. Keeper is another one for Mac users. And, of course, LastPass Pocket. Doesn't matter. LastPass was having issues. So was LastPass Pocket. But I don't know. It makes you kind of, nothing's safe anymore, really. What do we need to do? Go to thumbprints or some sort of, bio eye scan? What are we going to have to do next? How are we going to get beyond the, having to use a password that most of us don't like writing a complicated one? We use a variation of maybe the same password. I know a lot of people do that. They maybe have a long string that they have, and then they change the string at the end, depending on a website. And I'm sure a lot of people do that. I use a little different tactic in creating my complicated passwords, but it makes you wonder. And this going on along with all this other stuff going on with data. Apple finally released the new version of iOS. So now you can patch your iPhone and your iPad and get not have them tracking you. And they've encrypted that file now. And when you turn tracking off, it really turns it off. So, I guess we all should be welcome to the world of data here. And we all need to watch our back. It's gotten, we've moved real quick, real fast into this space. And I think a lot of us said, oh, that's cool. You're going to trust this company to keep your data. And I'm just as much of a sucker as anybody else. I hate typing in passwords. So when I'm logged into LastPass and I can go to a website, boom, I'm in. I don't have to, I can have some complicated password. It doesn't have to be some variation. It can be an auto-generated one. And that's where people were really hammered today, was a lot of folks have adopted that, and they couldn't even get to LastPass. So they were stuck, locked out of services today. So it looks like LastPass needs to put in a little more back end to their system. All right, let's move off security here, and let's talk about Gmail a little bit. How many contacts do you have? I've got a lot of contacts in my Gmail accounts. We've got Google Apps we're using for geeknewscentral.com and for Raw Voice and some other of our domains where we get email on. And So I've got a fair number of contacts. And what I really did is I went and opened up and actually looked, and I've got about 900. That's about my contact list. That's people that I email on a, I guess, for a better word, a regular basis. And not really on a regular basis, but that's how many people that I can say I look through a list, I know who they are. And so for me, that was just like, okay, that's about right. But did you know some people were actually topping out Gmail's contact database? Gmail allows you to have 10,000 contacts. Well, some people were saying, hey, that's not enough, Gmail. I need more. So now Gmail now allows you to store up to 25,000 contacts. Who knows 25,000 people? I want to meet that person. Who knows those people by name? Why would you need 25,000 contacts in your it would be just purely business contacts? That to me is simply incredible. 25,000 contacts? I can't believe people would need more than 10,000. But if you have the need, Gmail's there for you. They're good to go. I wouldn't want to put 25,000 email or 25,000 contacts in good old Outlook. Outlook would have a coronary and flip over and die. Let's talk about a little science here. Boy, Albert Einstein. He's still the man, folks. He launched this gravity probe, right? The gravity probe B. Well, today, scientists are basically doing backflips. The gravity probe B confirms two of Einstein's space-time theories. Researchers have confirmed, this comes from universetoday.com, researchers have confirmed two predictions of Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity, concluding one of NASA's longest-running projects. The gravity probe B experiment used 4 ultra-precise gyroscopes housed in an Earth-orbiting satellite to measure two aspects of Einstein's theory about gravity. The first is the geodetic effect, or the warping of space and time around a gravitational body. The second is frame dragging, which is the amount a spinning object pulls space and time with it as it rotates. Well, both of his theories prove to be correct. So if you've ever had to do any of these very long form, basically theta equals 3gm over 2c squared r, then you go to r times v plus, and it just goes on. This formula goes on. I'm glad someone else does this math, but a good article about this on Universe Today. So anyway, I'll have the link up in the show notes for you to check out. But Einstein, he's the man. He continues to impress us all. He really does. We need more Einsteins in the world, don't we? We need some more guys like him. We need a whole buttload of them to help us with all these other troubles we're having. You get an Einstein type guy trying to figure out this, these energy issues or pollution issues, then you are going to really make some changes in a hurry. But unfortunately, those types of big brains only come around so very. It's not just there's so few of them, and I've been lucky enough to meet some very, true like rocket scientists, guys that are like big brains. And I'm not kidding you. I had the opportunity a number of years ago to work with some really top people in a specific field, and you just stand around them and you just listen. You get a master's degree or PhD and just listen to these guys talk, if you can keep up with them. I had this one guy, and I won't say his name because you guys will be out Googling him on the net, but I would tell this gentleman, I would say, you gotta come down to my level. Gotta come down to my level, dude. You're like 80% above me. And he'd bring it down. He was one of these guys that could bring the conversation down to a level that I could understand. He was that, so far out there and explaining stuff, and you're just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And it's impressive, some of the depth and knowledge that people have. But cool stuff from Albert Einstein. Okay, let's move on here. Hey, let's talk about an article that's over on Tech Dirt and Homeland Security. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Homeland Security and their shenanigans. This is a beautiful one. You guys are gonna love this. Homeland Security demands that Mozilla remove Firefox extension that redirects seized domains. Apparently, someone built a plugin called Mafia Fire that negates ICE domain seizures by automatically rerouting users to alternate domains. Apparently, the Department of Homeland Security is demanding that Mozilla take the extension down from its listing of Firefox extensions, claiming that the add-on circumvented DHS seizure orders. Mozilla did not fold, but instead left it up and sent DHS a list of questions concerning the request. The list of questions, oh man, this is where it's beautiful. The list of questions is really fantastic as it goes way beyond the direct request to really get to the heart of the questionable nature of ICE activity. So here they ask. Number 1, have any courts determined that MafiaFire.com is unlawful or legal in any way? If so, on what basis? Please provide any relevant rulings. 2, have any courts determined that the seized domains related to MafiaFire.com are unlawful, illegal, or liable for infringement in any way? Please provide relevant rulings. Number 3, is Mozilla legally obligated to disable the add-on, or is the request based on other reasons? If other reasons, can you please specify? 4, has the Department of Homeland Security any copyright owners involved in this matter taken any legal action against MafiaFire.com or the seized domains, including DMCA request? Number 5, what protections are placed for MafiaFire.com or the seized domain owners if eventually court decides that they were not unlawful? 6, can you please provide copies of any briefs that accompanied the affidavit considered by the court to issue the relevant seizure orders? Number 7, can you please provide a copy of the relevant seizure order upon which you request Mozilla to take down MafiaFire.com as base? Number 8, please identify exactly what the infringement of the owners of the domains consist of, with references to the substantive standards of Section 106 and to any case law established that actions of the seized domain owners constituted civil or criminal copyright infringement. Number 9, did any copyright owners furnish affidavits in conjunction with the domain seizures? Had any copyright owners served DMC takedown notices on the seized domains or MafiaFire.com? Has the government furnished the domain owners with formal notices of seizures triggering the time period for response by the owner? If so, when and have there been any responses by owners? Number 11, has the government communicated its concern directly with MafiaFire.com? If so, what response, if any, did MafiaFire.com make? Ooh. Is the Department of Homeland Security going to come in and take Firefox down? This, if this is hardcore. This is absolutely hardcore. Now, I don't condone anyone that's doing stuff that's illegal. Okay, don't get me wrong here. I don't condone that. But I also feel that people have right to due process. If you are going to have something taken down, or you're going to have something seized, you should be served. Should be given notice, and you should be able to have your day in court, right? That's not what's happened with these domain names. They just seize them. Now, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but at the same time, Mozilla is saying, no, we're not taking this file down or this plugin down. What do you guys think? Do you think Mozilla is like sticking their neck out too far? Are they messing with something they shouldn't? Or is more of this needed? So drop me an email or call the voicemail hotline at 619-342-7365. Now, on a much lighter note, Netflix. Netflix CEO, they almost didn't do the deal with the Stars a number of years ago when they did the $30 million deal to get their library. 2008, they paid $30 million for a 4-year run on Stars content. And they paid for those rights, and they really didn't know if they were going to do it. But smart move it was, wasn't it? Now, I'll be curious to see how much they have to pay when they renew in 2012. That'll be the true test. All right, for those of you out there who have joined me in becoming a cord cutter, we'll definitely want to check out here what's going on in the cable empire. All right, I told you guys, and I keep telling you that the cable companies are not going to go away easy. They are going to swing, fight back, claw, do everything they can from a legal perspective to really to fight back. So there's a good article here on New TV at gigaohm.com talking about subscriber numbers. Now, Netflix grew quarter 1 11 to 22.8 million subscribers. Now, here's the interesting part. In quarter 1 of 10, cable providers had 100 million point 4 subscribers. Quarter 4 of 10, they had 100 million point 1. But a quarter of 111, they bounced back to 100 million point 5. So they're up essentially 100,000 or so from quarter 110. And I really kind of test that to probably the economy starting to come back a little bit. People are getting jobs back, so maybe they're getting their cable services turned on, at least, from a little bit of some people getting some money coming in again. So big change, 460,000 new subscribers in Q1. That's big. So we'll see what happens, continues to happen. But Nielsen came out with a report that was also saying that the number of people owning televisions is at its lowest number they've seen in, what was it, 68 or some ridiculous time frame. So we've seen a huge drop. I don't have that article linked, but anyway, that was something I saw earlier in the week. So there is some horse trading going on. We'll see where it goes. Hey, CNET, CNET is owned download.com, and that's kind of a story in itself. Back in the day when no one was really thinking about software and domains, and when I bought my first domain, I bought Hafadai, HAFAADAI.com. That was my first domain I bought when I was in Guam. And, I thought back then, boy, wouldn't it be good? I thought, it'd be good if I got shareware.com, software.com, and, and I'm thinking, no one's going to buy those. There's like $100 a piece, And little did I know, I should have bought all those domains now, and I'd been rich. I'd been able to retire. But anyway, CNET has run download.com for a number of years. But CNET has been sued over the LimeWire downloads. So they've been, basically, they're going to be taken to court here. Are being sued for several copyright infringements related to offenses for their role in distributing LimeWire and other peer-to-peer software. Now, here's the deal. I think that they are going to be protected. I just can't imagine that these software distribution sites are going to become the candidates for these folks to try to get some money. But the rappers and R&B groups, including Two Live Crew, Crucial Conflict, and Pretty Ricky, they accuse CNET, and other defendants of several copyright infringements. They're part of the signees to this. And we'll see. We'll see where this goes. But they say they're guilty of inducing mass copyright infringement. CBS is is the owner of CNET. So ultimately, CBS will end up having to pay this battle. But it'd be interesting to see where this develops with this particular lawsuit. I want to talk about some scams that have been directed here at Geek News Central over the past. It's been going on for a couple of months. I used to get these notices and emails. Hey, we love your site. We'd like to buy a link on it. You can tell it's a form letter, and we think our content was perfect match for Geek News Central. We'd like to pay a nominal fee to have a link on your website to link back to joescarpeting.com. Well, you take those and you delete those. And what I actually did is I had a form letter that I sent back that said, oh, yeah, we'll run a link on our site, and and I would put on the bottom like $12,000 a month would be the charge. I put this huge, ridiculous price. And I actually got people to respond to it saying, oh, we were thinking more like $100. I'd be like, oh, no. I might consider $11,500, per month for your link on your website. So I always thought if someone was willing to pay that kind of money, they could have a link, right? It doesn't matter if it went to Joe's Carpeting or wherever it went. If they're stupid enough to pay that kind of money, we'd have a little fun with it. So what I'm getting now is emails. And it comes across, oh, Todd, hey, we're big fans of the website. And we're here at somestupidwebsite.com, and we noticed you have some cool features, and you like to have you have great articles on your website. And hey, we've just launched this new article. We've written this great article. It's about such and such. It's basically about the most amazing stupid tech companies, and we want you to post this on your website. Hey, we'll even provide it for you, so it's just real easy to put on your website. You just copy and paste. Would you like a copy of it? Well, If you don't have any content on your website and you're an idiot, yeah, you'll grab this content, you put it on your website. And I actually asked one time, yeah, send the stuff over. Come on. There was at least 10 separate links going out to like 8 or 9 different websites. And I went and looked at the .coms that they were associated with. And oh, can you imagine the surprise when they are all registered to the same company? So be aware out there, bloggers, that people are trying to link farm you by getting into your most sacred area, your blog post area. Don't let them do it, okay? Be careful out there. Another article on Geek News Central is good one wrote by KL talking about Plex on the Roku. So if you're a Plex user, you want to check this out. Check out KL's write-up. This is a private channel. You'll be able to get to it. If you're a Firefox user and you want speed, you want to tweak Firefox for speed, I got a great article for you over at blog.tmcnet.com. Have this up in the show notes where he talks how to do some pipelining, how to make some changes to some settings, essentially to get Firefox to really ramp up its speed and performance. Saw a great video about a new, basically it's a new service. It's called Feedly. It's an RSS reader built on top of Google Reader. And this is kind of cool. And Feedly has rewrote their system from scratch, and I was not familiar with what they have done. But after I watched this part of this video that Scoble did, it's 35 minutes. It's typically long for Scoble. He doesn't do short 10-minute videos. But you're going to want to check out what Feedly is doing here. And it's worth it. This is a long deal. So if you've got a tablet, it works real good with tablets and so forth. I'll have this up in the show notes. You can check it out if you want to dig in. Hey, now, our Canadian listeners need to really listen up. And those of you that store stuff up on Amazon S3, you need to listen up as well. Apparently, what's happening is if you're sending your pictures and everything up to Amazon, that's all good and well. You know, it's a great place to store them in the cloud. I've got stuff up there. And it's a great place to put stuff, be safe. You don't have to worry about a hard drive blowing. You definitely want to keep a backup copy locally anyway. But, in Canada, they have these bandwidth limits. And this guy got basically a email from Rogers. He said, hey, dude, you're like over your bandwidth limit already for the month. He's like, impossible, And they went trying to figure out what was going on. He went way over. I mean, he went huge over on his bandwidth limits. And luckily, he only had to pay a one-time fee for the overage and so forth. But long story short, he got his Amazon AWS service bill. And again, he had about 25 gigs of photos backed up on there. And usually storage costs about $3 a month. But this time, his bill was $109. So what he found out was, and he'd been using Jungle Disk to actually transfer stuff back and forth. And one thing you can do with Jungle Disk is you can map your Amazon S3 service as a drive. Apparently, and I don't know which service does this. I don't know which antivirus software does this, but some of the antivirus software, actually, if you don't exclude the drive, would download the media, was scanning it, and then letting it go. So he was getting huge, 25 gigs a day coming down that was getting scanned by his antivirus software. And so make sure that you disable your Amazon drives from being scanned. I actually loaded up, I have Norton here. I loaded that up and I said, I don't know, maybe I've been downloading all my stuff every day too, but I don't think so. I didn't get a big bill like that, but I made sure that the drive wasn't on the scan drive. So be aware, okay? And don't get this huge bill. He could have had a huge bill. It's only he's out $200, but he about pulled his hair out trying to figure out what's going on. I have the link up in the show notes for you. And it's basically what happens when cloud meets a bandwidth cap. Not good. Now, this morning I was, matter of fact, I was on the phone with a client, and my daughter never calls me. When during school hours, she's not allowed to call me or use her phone, right? Unless it's an emergency. So I'm on the phone with a client, and I see caller ID, Anna. Caller ID, Anna. And so, and I kind of said, that's kind of odd. And I told the client, I'm sorry. I said, my daughter's calling me. She's supposed to be at school. This must be really something important. Can I put you on hold for a second? And he was gracious enough and allowed me to do that. And I put him on hold and I answered the phone. I said, hello, Anna, what's going on? And all I could hear was school, classroom stuff. And what was going on was she basically was either rubbing her pants or something. She was ghost dialing me. Now, how many of you have ever done that, right? Well, if you're a thief, make sure that you shut off your phone or clear the call button, because some dude driving around in a van full of stolen goods was continued to dial 911. And he dialed, and not only did he dial 911, but it didn't hang up. And why it was set up to dial 911 in the first place, I don't know. But long story short, this guy was talking about what was going on, and the police found him and arrested him. So ghost dialing gets its first crook. Meanwhile, I told Anna today, I said, look at my phone. How many times you ghost dialed me today? And she kind of had figured out at the end of school when her battery was almost, well, I don't know how many times she dialed me, but it was enough. It was just I just kept ignoring it. But, and leaving a 2-minute message every time of nothing but classroom. I should have listened to all of them. I didn't. Next article up is over on Wired. Now, this is going to come to a shock by many of you. Okay, this really, this is an amazing. I have to, I saw this tonight, and I'm like, I don't want to cover this, but I have to say it. Did you know that watching porn at work could be grounds for you to get fired? Unless you work for some company that's like Playboy or some other company like that, probably watching adult material on your computer at work is going to get you fired. But apparently, the court had to affirm that this was an issue that could get you fired. So the 7th U.S. Court of Appeals upheld the firing of a Wisconsin high school biology teacher and union president for viewing thumbnail images of adult material for 1 minute on a school computer. Now, I don't know any more details than that, but, come on. You have to go to court for that. You take your lumps, go get a different job. Go work for the adult industry if you want to look at that material at work. It's amazing. It really, really is. Now, remember the Marion school that was spying on people? Well, this one's going to blow you away. How many of you are familiar with a specific rent-to-own place called Aaron's? I guess Aaron's rents furniture, electronics, and computers on a rent-to-own basis. This is an interesting story. A Wisconsin couple has apparently sued Aaron's Incorporated for spying on them. Basically, what happened was, in this case, the couple had rented a Dell laptop from the company and later discovered that it had sneaky monitoring software on it, which they were unaware of, but which was used to turn the laptop webcams and take pictures of the family without them knowing about it. The only way they found out was that a store manager came to take back the computer incorrectly, believing the couple had not paid their bill. They had. When he showed up, he showed them a photo he had, which was taken from the webcam, which freaked the couple out. They asked him how he got the photo, and his response was that he wasn't supposed to show them the photo. Apparently, the product that was used to do this monitoring is hardware-based, meaning that it couldn't be detected or turned off via software. So, wow. This is reported over on Tech Dirt. Holy smokes. Can you say, payday, 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 payday? If this turns out to be the truth, these folks are going to have to worry about renting anything anymore. They're going to own Aaron's. Can you imagine? Can you imagine you rented something from someone and they got stuff in there to spy on you? I wonder if it's in the rental agreement. We reserve the right to monitor what you do in your house while you're renting gear from Aaron's. Now, folks, just remember, these are comments I'm receiving from Tech Dirt. Opinions are mine. But wow. This is being reported that this is what happened. Whether it's true or not, we will find out. But the couple is suing this folks for spying on them. Amazing. Totally amazing. Now, you know, in SEAL Team 6, of course, they're in the news a lot. And they had some working dogs with them. And there were rumors going around that the dogs had titanium teeth. No. The working dogs that work with the Navy do not have titanium teeth. They have regular teeth. If they break it, the dog breaks a tooth just like a human. They put a crown on it. They fix them up, but it's not titanium. But there was some rumor going around that SEAL Team 6 had dogs with titanium razor sharp teeth. No, dogs' teeth are sharp enough as they are. If you've ever been bit by a dog, you will know that. So, interesting. Good article around Wired. Hey, did you know that they've captured antimatter? This is pretty cool. 15 minutes isn't a long time, but to the folks that have been trying to capture antimatter, they have been able to do so. They've been able to use a magnetic trap to capture antimatter for about 1,000 seconds. And they were able to, how many actual atoms were there? Did they say? It was a pretty big number. They're pretty jazzed up about this. So I'll have the link up in the show notes. Those of you that are following this stuff, but antimatter has been captured, and they're jazzed because it is the length of time they were able to do it. Now, how much does $7 million buy you in Silicon Valley? I'm going to show you something. This is going to blow you away. Mark Zuckerberg has bought a new house, and let me bring this photo up so you guys can check this out. That's a $7 million house. It was a 10-minute drive from his company, so of course it's right there in San Jose. All right, and but can you guys believe that? That's $7 million. Now, if I was in Michigan and bought this would be a couple $100,000, but only in Silicon Valley is this a $7 million house. I'm sorry for those of you that live in California. Better you than me. Really, I'm just I'm blown away by this. $7 million for that. He makes enough money. He could have a helicopter. He could fly out to a real house. I'm not saying this is not a real house, but it's got 5 full bedrooms, a sunroom, a sweeping porch. It was made in 1903. So, wow, I'm just blown away. That's not even in Hawaii, that's not a $7 million house. I'm sorry. A $7 million house you're on the water. You're on the ocean. You walk out your front door and you can walk on the beach and put your toe in the Pacific Ocean. Crazy. Okay. Supposedly there's a third attack planned against Sony, and a group of hackers says planning another wave of cyber attacks against Sony. Sony has basically hired detectives after they've lost a lot of personal data. And so Sony is, man, they're just being slapped back and forth. They're not making any headway here. But people are getting pretty bold. Anonymous says, hey, it wasn't us. It wasn't our fault that they've got bad security. So, beware out there. And if you've got credit cards on Sony, please get some sort of a watch on that data. Hey, if you've seen any Osama bin Laden pictures or videos or anything that you think, Osama bin Laden, if you have any Osama bin Laden films you've seen or anything like that, please get some malware software and check your computer. Stay away from the pictures. Stay away from the videos. You're going to find these if they're ever released. You're going to find these on Reuters, CNN, Fox. You're going to see them all the big ones. Don't go to some site to say, hey, we've got pictures of the dead terrorist. Do not do it, okay? The scammers are going crazy on Osama bin Laden's death, and they are hammering people's computers and loading them up. So be careful out there, okay? Hey, and the leader in high-speed fiber broadband is Lithuania. Oh, yes, in Lithuania, they're launching 300 megabits per second fiber service, and the Lithuanian price is $79.90. I don't know if that's Lithuania's kroners or what kind of is it? I don't know. Are they on the? They're not on the ruble. What are they on? Anyway, so their price is $79.90, whatever that equals to here in the U.S. Oh, excuse me. It's does it tell how much? Yeah, it's nope, doesn't tell the price, but it's about here. It's about $100. So hey, Lithuania's got the highest speed internet now within the country. Are they connected that well to get that kind of performance out of the country too? Time will tell. This is going to take you back. Remember WordPerfect? Oh yeah, that software that we used back in the day, back and before really there was much thing called Windows. Well, Novell has gotten a judgment overturned. WordPerfect antitrust suit that was filed in 2004, which Microsoft initially won because a couple of key pieces of evidence was allowed to be thrown out. Upper court has basically said, hey, no, you can go ahead. We're going to reverse this action, and you're free to move forward and sue Microsoft again over the WordPerfect antitrust suit. So just Microsoft, just write them a check and be done. This is like, gosh, WordPerfect, it just makes me cringe. The reason WordPerfect got blew out of the water, come on, let's be honest. We all know, those of us that use WordPerfect, as soon as Windows came out in the first version of Microsoft Word, we were like, what am I using this piece of crap for? Let's go, right? Oh, it's just, of course, Microsoft had monopoly, but it's water underneath the bridge. Microsoft, just write them a check and be done. Be done with it. My goodness. Hey, you want to fly to the moon? We're going to start up with fun. Here's the deal. They're going to start, the folks have been taking folks up the International Space Station. Well, they're going to start doing space trips to the moon. You're going to get 8 to 10 days on the International Space Station. You're going to depart the International Space Station. You're going to go dock with another spacecraft, which has been put in orbit waiting for you. They're going to boost you out of orbit. They're going to take you on a 3.5-day tour to the moon. You're going to circle the moon, and you're going to high power out of the orbit of the moon. You're going to come back to planet Earth. You're going to jettison your little living quarters that you're going to be in for those 3.5 days, and then you're going to have a fiery re-entry, all for the low price of $100 to $150 million. If I had it, I'd spend it in a heartbeat. If I had it, I would spend it in a heartbeat. But Space Adventure, taking reservations today. Call your local travel agent. Pretty cool, yeah? You're going to get a couple of orbits. You're not just going to get one orbit at the moon. You're going to get a couple orbits. Enjoy. Now, Spaceship Two successfully did a feathered flight, and the side wings on the Spaceship Two comes up. So they've got some pictures here on the website. I have that link up in the show notes. They've been flying this thing a lot. Of course, just static dropping it. There's a good article as well about Alan Shepard and kind of some insights into his life. Alan Shepard, well, even though being had part of the right stuff and a great movie. Some interesting details about Alan Shepard on universetoday.com. Let's talk just a little bit here about Tort Freak, article over there. There is a company called Perfect 10. They're just suing everybody, and they've sued Microsoft, Amazon. Who else have they sued? They've just like this ongoing list of companies they've sued for supposed trademark infringement. People have been putting pictures up on their services. They say they're there, so because their pictures are up on your website, it's an issue. Now they're going after Usenet groups. Giga News is one of them that they're going after. They've only ever got money out of Amazon, and Amazon settled with them. So, anyway, long story short, they're going after Usenet companies now. this is another company that just needs to go away. But hopefully the courts will punish them and they won't be able to move forward. All right, I've got to share this with you before we get to the end of the show here. And this is an article that you're gonna kind of laugh. This is over on technologizer.com. Breakthrough Japanese inventor introduces a remote kissing device. Now, when you see this, I'm absolutely guaranteed you're going to want to rush right out and buy one of these immediately. So I just want to demonstrate for you here on the show how this works. I'm not going to. You have the gentleman. He's staring intently at a device that he's moving around with his tongue. It looks like he's got a straw in his mouth and is attached to another device via a remote control where there is a simple encoder that's moving it around and around. He's speaking Japanese, and I showed my wife this, and she looked at it for about 30 seconds, and the first word she said was gross. The second word she says weird, and stomped out of here. So I'll have that up for you to check out. You're going to see it. You're going to be like, no, this is not a KISS transmission device. This is someone that's figured out how to use a servo. That's all it is. Last couple of things here for you, and we'll just bust through these real quick. Facebook may be buying Skype, a rumored $4 billion deal. We'll see that. Apple is planning an easier upgrade to iOS Mac OS 10. Supposedly going to be, they're making some improvements to the update process, and they may debut over-the-air updates, which would be kind of cool. For your just general knowledge around the water cooler, did you know that chimpanzees can have 66 gestures they use to communicate with one another? It's over on Earth News at the BBC. I have that link up in the show notes. And there's a brand new website called howmanypeopleareinspaceriightnow.com, and that answer is 6, all aboard the International Space Station. So that's a site that you'll want to visit every day to see if that number changes. And over at osnews.com, Apple to release Mac OS 10 Lion through the Mac App Store. That's being planned. It's not going to come out in a box set. And Jeff, the gentleman that's behind Amazon, Jeff Bezos, he's dropped $19.5 million on a nuclear fusion startup. And so he's dropping $19.5 million to help these guys develop nuclear fusion. So kind of interesting investment there. It's predicted that the Android App Store is going to be bigger than the iOS App Store by August of 11. Remember the HP 12C financial calculator? It is now 30 years old, largely unchanged, still available for resale even today. 30 years ago, that was the deal. Oh, Gizmo's got a good article on Looky TV. You can buy now Looky TV for $199. You can watch Blueberry.com, TechPodcast.com on the Looky TV. And again, it's $199 and available via a direct PayPal order with them. Next thing up is if you want to keep organized, there's a great new plugin for Firefox. I have that link up in the show notes for you. Even though iOS 4.33 dropped, it has already been jailbreaking. So if you need to re-jailbreak your update, you can. Jeffrey Powers has written a good article at Geek News Central about Wave Accounting as a new free online accounting software. He's got a good write-up on that. You can check that out. And the last article for tonight before we get into the email is Global Rare Earth Supply Deficit Should Turn into a Surplus by 2013, Goldman Sachs says. So we know we're short on 17 specific elements right now that are in short demand, and it's actually China is tighten up the supply on those, but they feel by 2013 we'll be out of the hole with all of the mining that's going on within the United States. Okay, let me go ahead here and bounce a message into the comments section. I got an email here from Trucker Tom. He said, "Hey Todd, check out the paper phone, the smartphone made out of paper that was shaped with your pocket." And this is an article over at dailymail.co.uk. I'll have that link up in the show notes. I want to give a warm congratulations to the Lou Trek Show. He's hit 100 episodes. His this coming Monday on May 9th, he's going to have guest Mike Smith of the Mike Tech Show on board. And they're going to be he basically releasing his 100th show. And Mike was his first guest around May of 2009. So 2 years to get to 100 shows. Congratulations to the Lou Trek Show at LouTrekShow.com. Got a couple of articles here. One is from Jim. He says, hey, Todd, here's some cool technology that was used to identify Osama bin Laden. I'll have that link up in the show notes. And I think I covered this one in the last one. If I didn't, if I did already, I apologize. But I got an email from Robert. He says, hey, Todd, a warning about some malicious scareware is making the rounds in the Mac forums today. Easy solution is to be sure to turn off the open save files after downloading an option in the general tab of Safari preferences. So I have that link up in the show notes. So really quick, that was kind of it on email. So again, if you've got comments on the show, call the show hotline at 619-342-7365. Of course, you can email me at geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com. We want to thank all of you for hanging out with me. For those of you that are one of our insiders, you're going to be getting an email me for check your inbox, because you'll get an invite to our Saturday event if you want to attend. And I want to thank everyone for hanging out with me today. It's been my pleasure to bring you the show as usual. We'll go figure out what's going on with Amazon and have something negative, I'm sure, to say about them come Monday. But look forward to seeing you on the next show. Everyone, take care. We'll see you next time. And aloha.